From myth to the big screen, Hercules has been used as a symbol of strength and a warrior with a heart, no matter what form of media you see the character in. Hercules' story has always been motivational. Modern heroes such as the Hulk,
I'm always angry.
and Thor from Marvel's The Avengers have super strength and inspire people of different ages, even though their positions and situations are completely different to how real life would be, but they somehow feel relatable. No hero can really be a hero without his or her heart. Inside this heart lies the very essence of a hero. This is where they decide to use their power for good. Anyone can have power in a range of different ways, but with power comes great responsibility.
Remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
A hero uses this responsibility to help others. This is the greatest power, that of the heart. This is the most dominant belief in our society today about heroes, that they become heroes because they have great gifts and can use them for good. Well, that is what I believe makes a modern hero so great and inspirational. However, in this essay, we'll be looking into what is it about Hercules that has such longevity in modern media. The story of Hercules originated in Greek culture as Hercules or Heracles, and is one of the best known heroes in ancient mythology. Hercules' life was not easy as he went through multiple trials, only to be promised that he would be accepted and live amongst the gods at Mount Olympus. Hercules was not a god, instead he was a demigod, born a mortal, but his father was Zeus, who was the ruler of the Greek gods. Hercules and his 12 labours are what Hercules is most known for. However, the reason he did them was a punishment from a god, Apollo, for killing his own wife and 2 children. This was due to a spell that Hera casted on him. Despite knowing Hera's vengeful actions, Apollo insisted that the young man make things right, even though he was not responsible for Hercules' transgressions. So, for the benefit of the Mycenaean monarch, Eurystheus, he gave Hercules 12 tasks to complete. Apollo declared that once Hercules had finished all the labours, he would be exonerated of all blame and attain immortality. The most well-known story from the 12 labours is when Hercules journeyed to Lerna to destroy the 9-headed Hydra, a snake-like venomous creature who resided underwater and guarded the underworld's entrance. Iolaus, Hercules' nephew, assisted him in this undertaking. He severed the heads of the beasts, and Iolaus torched the wounds. The 2 prevented the heads from growing back with this technique. So, Hercules underwent the hero's journey to complete this quest, where a hero must change and grow through their quest. Greeks use this plot arc in their stories, and it's still how most stories are told today. The hero's journey is a universal story structure that may be found in both classic myths and contemporary adventures. If you infer into Hercules and the Hydra story, you could say that the message being told is that with teamwork, the hero was able to defeat the threat. This is reflective of the story of the film mentioned before, The Avengers, as the team were able to combine their strengths to defeat the threat. Hercules was associated with extraordinary strength. This is true, but what makes it even more real is that he employs his power to aid those who are helpless. The reason he shields those unavailable to defend themselves is never clearly explained. All we can do is speculate through all the times he is shown in media. The most current way people know about the story of Hercules is Disney's remake of his story, Hercules. Hercules was able to achieve 252.7 million worldwide. However, while it did release during the time period of the classic Disney Renaissance and received positive reviews, Hercules did not do as well at the box office as its predecessors. The film features an action-adventure comedy with some musical elements, and it tells the story of Hercules' fight to reclaim his immortality that was taken from him at birth. To please its intended demographic and maintain its PG rating, the film depicts Hercules as a young man, where he comes across a Hydra, several different monsters, giants, Cyclops, and Hades, the ruler of the underworld, together with his dog, Cerberus. With a reoccurring affair with Megra, Hercules' first wife in mythology, the film also plays with the idea of his love life. The film concludes with a pivotal fight that claims Hercules' life and returns his immortal spirit to Olympus, where he's reunited with his father Zeus. So here are all the things that are similar to the Greek mythology. However, the main difference this movie has compared to the original story is he didn't accomplish any labours, unless you count the heroic deeds he performs to become a god again, which could exactly parallel the labours for immortality. As seen in Disney's version of the story, it is not an active adaptation of the source material, as too many things have been changed from the original story to conform to the expectations of the audience. A quote from Leitch says, "Films depend on screenplays, which in turn often depend on literary source material." This is not entirely true when applying it to Disney's adaptation, as the source material was not followed and only loosely covered and manipulated to ensure the viewer's enjoyment. However, this does not make the film bad in any way, but if it was the only way children learn about Hercules, they would be very misinformed. Objectively, an even worse offender of not being aligned with the source material than Hercules is Hercules in New York, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, who plays Hercules, and this is his film debut. So Hercules visits New York in the 1970s and has a girl who's the love interest and is kidnapped by the mafia.
Look.
What are you doing? Oh, wow!
And then the movie's plot revolves around Hercules' struggles to win her back. Now, except from a few Olympians, such as Zeus and Hades who appear in it, the film barely touches on Hercules' tale. This is an even worse kind of adaptation, in a sort of sense, as it's not aligned with the original source material at all. However, there's some other adaptations which fare kind of better. So even in Marvel Comics, he's enjoying drinking and eating and enjoys fighting even more. Although he frequently appears with the Avengers, he also had his own miniseries. In the comics, he's presented more humorously, and Zeus is the only Olympian god that is ever acknowledged, and is practically never mentioned nevertheless. Instead of delving into the mythology, the comics invent a new contemporary tales for him. In the comic books, he's not a god, but an immortal, which is quite similar to how he is in mythology after he passes away. A lot of comic book renditions of mythological characters tend to change the character's persona, and such as Thor from the same comic, where they're not really mythologically accurate. So, other places the character is seen are the game God of War 3.
Hello, brother.
By Santa Monica Studios, and Hercules, The Legendary Journeys, which is the most accurate to the original myth than the rest of the filmed material. To conclude, the reason Hercules has so much longevity is that his personal story is extremely reminiscent of the character arcs that modern heroes go through. However, to conform to the expectations of modern audiences, a lot of adaptations don't entirely follow source material, and in my opinion, this is quite disappointing, as the story of Hercules follows the hero's journey, which is still used to this day in telling a hero story. As an avid reader of Greek mythology, there's a lot of source material to pull from. Hercules has now appeared in the film Thor: Love and Thunder, which released in 2022. And like Marvel usually does, or Disney, will not use the myth as the source material, but instead use Hercules' story told within Marvel Comics. Nevertheless, we will see Hercules' story told for many years in multiple different forms, and this is why Hercules has so much longevity.